With these can-do videos, you'll see real-life situations where you have to introduce yourself, talk about your family, or give your contact information. So, by the end, you can do them yourself in Japanese. This video is a small portion of our can-do course. To get the full course, including translations, grammar tools, and assessment tests, click the link in the description.
Welcome to Can Do Japanese by JapanesePod101.com.
皆さんこんにちは、加納かなです。Hi everyone, I'm Kana Kano. In this lesson, you learn how to tell someone where you're from in Japanese.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to Japan. Ken Kobayashi, a passenger sitting next to him, asks him, Mr. Lee, where are you from?
リーさん、出身はどこですか?
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Note, the speakers in this conversation use polite Japanese. Ready?
リーさん、出身はどこですか?
出身はニューヨークです。
Once more, with the English translation.
リーさん、出身はどこですか?
Mr. Lee, where are you from?
出身はニューヨークです。
I'm from New York.
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation. Do you remember how Ken Kobayashi asks, Mr. Lee, where are you from?
リーさん、出身はどこですか?
First is
リーさん、
Mr. Lee.
リーさん、
This starts with Mark Lee's family name,
リー、
Lee.
リー、
After this is
さん、
a polite suffix attached to a person's name that translates as Mr. in Mark's case.
さん、さん、
Note, this suffix can be used with any gender. Together,
リーさん、
Mr. Lee.
リーさん、
Next is the word
出身、
hometown.
出身、出身、
Remember this word because you'll see it again in Mark's response. After this is the particle,
は、
the topic marking particle.
は、
It marks hometown as the topic of the sentence. Think of it like as for in the expression as for your hometown. Together, it's
出身は、
as for your hometown.
出身は、
Note, the your is understood through context as the speaker is asking a question.
出身は、
Next is the word
どこ、
where.
どこ、どこ、
After this is
です、
here, it's like the is in where is.
です、です、
Last is the particle
か、
the question marking particle.
か、
This particle turns the sentence into a question. Altogether, it's
リーさん、出身はどこですか?
This literally means, Mr. Lee, As for your hometown, where is? But it translates as, Mr. Lee, where are you from?
リーさん、出身はどこですか？
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later in this lesson.
Now, let's take a closer look at the response. Do you remember how Mark Lee says, I'm from New York?
出身はニューヨークです。
First is
出身
hometown.
出身
Next is the particle,
は
the topic marking particle.
は
It marks hometown as the topic of the sentence. Together, it's
出身は
as for my hometown.
出身は
Note, the my is understood through context as the speaker is responding to a question about his hometown. Next is
ニューヨーク
New York.
ニューヨークニューヨーク
Last is
です
in this case, it's like the is in it is.
です
Altogether,
出身はニューヨークです
this literally means, as for my hometown, New York is. But it translates as, I'm from New York.
出身はニューヨークです。
The pattern is
出身は hometown です
I'm from hometown.
出身は hometown です
To use this pattern, simply replace the hometown placeholder with the name of your hometown. Imagine you're from Sydney. In Japanese,
シドニーシドニーシドニー
say, I'm from Sydney. Ready?
出身はシドニーです。
I'm from Sydney.
出身はシドニーです。
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
出身はニューヨークです。出身はニューヨークです。
出身は札幌です。出身は札幌です。
出身はシアトルです。出身はシアトルです。
出身はロンドンです。出身はロンドンです。
出身は長崎です。出身は長崎です。
出身はオーストラリアです。出身はオーストラリアです。
Did you notice the last speaker says a country name in place of a city name?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
She says,
出身はオーストラリアです。
I'm from Australia.
出身はオーストラリアです。
The word
出身
actually has a broader meaning than just one's hometown. You can also use it to talk about your country. This pattern is
出身は home country です。
I'm from home country.
出身は home country です。
You should be aware of this pattern, but for this lesson, we'll use city names. Let's review the key vocabulary.
札幌、
Sapporo,
札幌、札幌。シアトル、
Seattle,
シアトル、シアトル。ロンドン、
London,
ロンドン、ロンドン。長崎、
Nagasaki,
長崎、長崎。Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say hometown? 出身、出身。And the topic marking particle? は、は。Do you remember how to say New York? ニューヨーク、ニューヨーク。And do you remember how Mark says, I'm from New York?
出身はニューヨークです。
出身はニューヨークです。Do you remember how to say where? どこ、どこ。And the question marking particle? か、か。Do you remember how Ken Kobayashi asks, Where are you from?
出身はどこですか？
出身はどこですか？ Do you remember how to say London? ロンドン、ロンドン。And how to say Seattle? シアトル、シアトル。Do you remember how to say Nagasaki? 長崎、長崎。
Let's practice. Imagine you're Jack Jones from London. Respond to Ken Kobayashi's question. Ready?
出身はどこですか？
出身はロンドンです。
Listen again and repeat.
出身はロンドンです。出身はロンドンです。
Let's try another. Now imagine you're Emma Egawa from Seattle. Ready?
出身はどこですか？
出身はシアトルです。
Listen again and repeat.
出身はシアトルです。出身はシアトルです。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Kana Kano from Nagasaki. Ready?
出身はどこですか？
出身は長崎です。
Listen again and repeat.
出身は長崎です。 出身は長崎です。 This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Well done! Now you know how to tell where you are from in Japanese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.